Hi, I want to talk about character building again and why building up your character doesn't mean much of anything. Why level up? Like, say, when you're leveling up in a video game or whatever it may be, you're building up your character, but what does that matter when you didn't have to go through the experience to begin with? And I'm sure I've mentioned this before, you're character building out of the fact that you're trying to escape the negative later on. You're building character so it becomes less painful. You get immunity from a disease, you build up a character of that experience, psychological, physical, emotional, building up of defenses and character and immunities to avoid the downfall to begin with. But obviously, it comes to the question. Obviously, it's better to avoid it to begin with. But obviously, that's not how reality works. You're gonna have to experience something, and the character building only comes into consideration as a possibility of existence once you've experienced character building to avoid something over and over again. So there's no not experiencing something. There's going to be some kind of character building once you exist, because once you exist, there's only things moving and existing to cause something to exist. And if it's a sentience, it's going to build up character. It's going to build up a shell, like a turtle, or a shell on some kind of plant, or in some kind of fruit. It's going to build up character to make it exist in a different way, and it's going to evolve it, at least on a personal level, maybe not necessarily on a physical level, changing an entire species. But that's generally what evolution is. It's character building. Not only that, that's how we function, and that's how it's all this stuff functions is character building. It's character building. That's how evolution worked, and that's how we're functioning on our day-to-day lives. We're functioning on that same level. Only on the same level to an extent, where we're still doing the I'm gonna get immune from a disease if I get it so many times, but I have to go through the disease 5 times to get immune to it. So I have to go through it more and more to get immune to the disease even more, but I have to go through the disease to get immune from it. So I have to avoid getting the disease again by going through the disease. But then you say, why don't I just not get the disease to begin with, not take the risk? So in a way, that's how life equals itself out. If you want to call it, say something about equilibrium that works in a function like that. Sort of like if you use your teeth more, you're going to get bigger teeth, or it's going to function, cause the teeth to function a different way, and it's not going to go to your ears or your mouth or your eyes. It's not going to go somewhere else. It's going to go there instead of somewhere else. So you use your teeth more, your eyes are going to get smaller. If you use your eyes more, or whatever, if you start off with those two things, then your teeth are going to get smaller. You're not going to use them as much. Whatever it is, there's going to be something, trade-off. It's a bunch of trade-offs. And evolving based on the strengths and weaknesses of character building, based on the circumstances of the environment, controlling how you interact with it. Based on the environment where you decide to go and how things decide to interact between you, the environment, how you decide to function and find your way around the environment and how you exist in it. So, yes, that's how it functions regardless. So, yes, we do have to go through character building. I just want to make sure I read my notes. My notes right here. Yeah, my notes. So I wanted to make sure I made that point. So we're going to be forced to character build. So it's something we're going to have to force to do because there's nothing but character building in existence. That's how evolution works. That's how our lives work on a personal level, on a functioning level. We're building character. Even though we're not evolving as a whole as a species anymore necessarily in that function, we're still evolving on our own personal level by saying things such as, I had a disease, say I got Lyme disease 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, and all of a sudden I get more immune to it. Get immune to poison oak, poison ivy, poison. You get immune to it, but you have to, generally speaking, if you don't already have the immunity, you have to go through it again. Sort of like there's going to be certain things people are already immune to and don't have to go through, but it never served as it never posed a threat to begin with. Therefore, it was never something you're escaping, and the escaping is what gives us the satisfaction of existence, and it's something that we're forced into based on the fact that life itself is a problem. No matter what we're chasing, no matter what we're satisfying, no matter how much we satisfy, we're on to chasing something else regardless. Sanity, food, hunger, or sexual satisfaction. If you don't have one or the other, you're going to be finding something else. If you have two of the other, you're going to be finding the other one, because you're not going to be satisfying all three of them at once. You're going to be chasing something. So like, I kind of feel okay right now. I feel like I'm not completely in a negative state of experience right now, but I still realize I'm making a video and I'm fighting the fact that I might have a sore throat and I don't want to say anything in a video. And I want to say something regardless, and I want to get the point across, and I'm doing it regardless, and I'm fighting something. I'm going through the character building of making a video, doing something when I don't want to, or going through a experience when I don't want to, against my will, or even, having principles and feeling like I have an obligation. Doing that and having that as an excuse is character building. And there's nothing we have we have no choice but to go through that character building and go through that existence. It's something we're forced into by our very nature of existence. Things have to go through experience. And things are going through evolution. That's how evolution works. That's how life is working. It's based on the fact of going through negative, going through all the grotesque numbers of death, and what created evolution is getting one out of the thousand, getting the one evolved thing out of the 1,000 things that failed to evolve, the same way the one thing decided to evolve based on a bunch of failed childbirths to get to the one birth that actually means something. So once that goes away, obviously that it doesn't change. That's the way existence is built off. That's the function of existence. Everything we do is based on building character and going through adversity to get over something, to get satisfied not only out of it, but get stronger against it. But once you're getting stronger against it, you're going to find something else to build your character to get satisfied from it. That's why, you know, the older you get, generally speaking, the less you feel, the less pain you may be going through. The more hardened you are, the more callous, the more cynical, or whatever it may be. A bunch of these character building, you're no longer innocent. A lot of these cliches you can apply to the real situation of existence and how it functions on a real life, day-to-day basis. It exists on this evolving thing and how it builds up character and we're forced to. But once you reach the max level, what else do you have to accomplish? There's no point in killing any more enemies, because you already killed the max amount of enemies to allow you to level up all the way. So once you've leveled up all the way, what's the point in continuing playing? You can continue to play, but obviously you were continuing to play based on the addiction of leveling up to begin with, right? In many circumstances. And you can keep playing, but you're not going to be accomplishing anything. You're going to be accomplishing something else that life gave you. So if you're not doing it because you're leveling up in the game, you're doing it because you want to reach 1,000 hours or something. You're going to be having some OCD, whatever excuse to say, I want to have something else out of this experience. It's going to be satisfying something in you as opposed to the game. So if, oh, okay, I already got level up, but I'm still playing the game, or whatever it may be, it's because you're trying to satisfy something in here. Now, because it's you that's playing the game, not the person in the game that's existing based on you controlling them. You're the one playing the game, or whatever it is, to use it as an analogy, and you want to keep leveling up because there's something in your head to feel like, oh, or even not leveling up, but just playing the game even though you've leveled up. It's something in you now that you're trying to satisfy. You're leveling up something in yourself as opposed to the character you had in the video game or whatever. To use an analogy, you know, that I guess makes enough sense. So once you have nothing else to satisfy, you're onto something else, and character building relies evolution, our day-to-day lives, getting over little things such as sickness. You have to go through the sickness so many times, but you're never completely going to get over it. You're never completely immune necessarily in many circumstances. You're always fighting an upward battle, an uphill, pushing a boulder uphill, an uphill battle. You're pushing the boulder uphill for it to fall down and push it up a bigger mountain so that you can get more satisfaction that you got at the same time. Otherwise, you're pushing the boulder up the same place. You got used to it, but you're no longer doing it for any other purpose, and now you're going to be forced into a circumstance where you got to feel something. I'd rather feel something than not feel anything. By just saying, okay, I got to push it up higher so I can feel something again. So if you're just doing, okay, I'm used to pushing it up, but I'm not feeling anything. So it's either you're not feeling anything or you're going to feel something through the deprivation, a long drop, but also like the 5-minute satisfaction after or the 1 minute satisfaction after the pushing the boulder up the hill for 20 minutes. So I want to feel the satisfaction of the 1 minute of, oh yes, I was used to pushing it for 5 minutes. Now I got to push it for 10 minutes to get the 1 minute of satisfaction, even though I was getting like 5 seconds of satisfaction doing the same thing over and over again. It was slowly dwindling away. I need to get more of a fix now. I need a more satisfying fix that lasts longer. And it requires more deprivation, more character building. It requires a leveling off, a way of controlling what you want to satisfy and how much you want to satisfy it by how much deprivation you have to go through. And that's the only controlling mechanism that you're going to get out of trying to satisfy something, is how much you're going to deprive yourself. How you're going to fool yourself into thinking. What your fooling isn't really doing, it's about deprivation. There's only one way to do it, is by depriving yourself. You're going to get more hungry the more you deprive yourself of eating. You're not going to fool yourself into getting hungry, unless that in and of itself poses a problem of deprivation in and of itself, because it's going to be causing a problem that causes something to fool you into thinking you're hungry. So it's going to cause another deprivation. It's going to have to be another source of deprivation that causes whatever fool. You're not even satisfying your hunger. You're satisfying your thinking of hunger at that point. So in a way, it kind of works that way, I guess. It's all a mind game in the end. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's really all it is. You're playing a game with your mind, and character building relies on that evolution, our own personal lives. Um, it's all about building character and evolving and getting over these things to attrition rates and evolution on our personal lives, going through all the deprivation to get slightly more positive, going through character building to find something else to character build up. It's all the same function. It works on the same way. You can see how all these things are very um, parallel. They're all very parallel in their existence and how they all work. And you realize, if you recognize the very physical existence of it, such as evolution, you'll realize all the psychological crap you're playing with yourself and how it really exists on a real level when you're playing the game on your own personal level, not just on an entire basis, but on the whole species or the whole planet or life in general. But on your personal level, you can recognize it more once you realize all these small little things are recognized in a big scale, and let you recognize it on your personal level. It become all the more encompassing when you recognize the game, more fully in and of yourself and outside of yourself. And it usually requires outside of yourself. Look inside, and looking inside, vice versa, look outside yourself more. Depends on where you start in your specific circumstances and predispositions. So yes, I think that's all I want to say. So if I have anything else to say on the subject, I can mention it in another video. So thank you, and until next time.